Last week, the official results of the Dutch general election was made public. The Green Party became second. In my last video, I asked the question, why are they against nuclear energy? Is it not a beautifully consistent green solution? It doesn't require much space, and is it not like super safe these days? In this video, I will present you their reasoning and why they believe nuclear energy might not be a good solution for the Netherlands. You are watching Indecisive, the nuclear energy debate. Why is the Dutch Green Party against? For this video, I've read everything the Green Party had to say about green energy in their election program, deeply dived in the sources they used about why they don't want nuclear energy, and I've watched how they reasoned in debates. So let's dive right into what they say about nuclear energy. To start with, I can give a disclaimer that the Green Party is not necessarily against nuclear energy, they just reason that it is not the best solution for the Netherlands at this moment. The biggest reason for this is time and money. They use the expert team Energy System 2050 report. This was a one-year initiative in the Netherlands to gather experts which together would make a vision and advice on how to approach a climate neutral the Netherlands in the year 2050. In the election program, they said that according to this initiative, by the time the new power plants would be operable, the supply of renewable energy from the sun and wind on the sea would be so significant that the power plants would be barely necessary in the Dutch energy system. They talk about 5 billion euros that is reserved for building 2 new nuclear plants in the Netherlands. The Green Party would like to see this money used differently, namely to enhance and increase the current renewable energy system with solar and wind. You might wonder, but wait, what happens when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow? Good question. For this, the Green Party has two solutions. In the short term, batteries, and they also talk about controlling the demand. And if such periods last too long, they mention gas power plants using green hydrogen. Okay, so they reference the advice of this experts team initiative. So let's dive into what they had to say. This project was initiated by the Dutch Minister of Climate and Energy. The idea was to gather experts on a broad number of fields: energy, economics, business, and also behavioral and social scientists. They were selected to have no conflict of interest on this topic to optimize the validity of their advice. They haven't done their own research. They base their advice on recent studies and other advices. If you want to check out their report in Dutch, I'll link their website in the description. So what do they say? Let's start with a reason why they do like nuclear energy. They like that nuclear energy would make the energy system more robust and the infrastructure would need to be less flexible. History teaches us spreading our energy sources gives more security in supply and makes us less dependent on any one thing. Their main argument against nuclear energy is time. The power plants will likely not be operable before 2040. By that time, the electricity infrastructure for wind and solar will be enhanced to such an extent that nuclear might not be as necessary. There is a significant chance that it then often won't have to run on full capacity, meaning it would sell less energy, making the entire project even more expensive. They do say, however, if electricity demand will be 2 or 3 times the current demand and neighboring countries do want to import our energy, in the form of hydrogen, then it is recommended to go to alternative green solutions like nuclear. Although the location chosen would certainly not be optimal for export. With the assumption that nuclear facilities could run at near max capacity and sell their energy, they say the total price of solar, wind and nuclear is similar. For this to happen, there are a few assumptions though. The Netherlands would need to be able to sell their energy, so Belgium and Germany should not build new nuclear power plants, and other countries should not build too many. They say these assumptions are not watertight, which makes the economic value of Dutch nuclear energy difficult to predict. This makes the economic risk high as it is a very expensive project. The risk gets even higher when looking at other countries who often underestimated how expensive the project would be. So there is a significant chance the build will be more expensive than is now calculated. We're dealing with high investment costs, low variable costs, meaning it is not evident that the more you produce, the more you earn. If one of the assumptions is indeed false, it will be too late when the build has started, they argue. At least on a psychological level, it is difficult to stop when you've already invested time, effort, and money. They mention the sunk cost fallacy. Finally, they give an interesting economical, political argument. Because private companies don't want to invest in nuclear, in order to make it happen, the government needs to actively participate in the project. The worry? Will this make the electricity market unfair? If the government subsidizes nuclear and has an incentive for its success, more so than solar and wind, what will the consequences be to its competitors? Will current investors in wind and solar trust it is fair? And will this lack in trust increase cost of solar and wind because the investors see an increased risk? Or even worse, will solar and wind go to other countries where they do have more trust in the free market of electricity? The Dutch government wants a neutral relation to the electricity market. The wonder is if this will be the case. They also note the current decisions about nuclear are not based on knowledge of the international energy system and how it could work with the developing supply and demand of energy. So they advise to not start this probably irreversible project and invest the money differently. They would prefer to see more and better analysis before the start of this huge project. So what do they propose is the correct way for the Netherlands to go to a climate neutral 2050? Is it possible for the Netherlands to get there without nuclear energy? Thank you for watching this video about nuclear energy, where I dive into a specific topic and share my findings with you. Please feel free to share any critique, feedback, questions or tips about nuclear energy in the comments. And when you do, I appreciate it very much if you share the sources to your claims so I can check them myself. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.